so people accept a state of emergency or martial law, while curbing freedoms on the desired path to social and economic collapse for creative destruction. Destroy the old and wipe away existing power structures for new ones, without the need for messy democratic consent. You know this plan by its Gentile name. The World Economic Forum's Great Reset. Nothing is hidden. It's all in plain sight as required by revelation of the method for the consent compact that rules human affairs beyond governments of men. We've repeatedly been told by the Jews, like Barbara Specter, that Europe will not survive unless it ceases to be mainly white and homogeneous, which means becoming miscegenated and multicultural, which is code for mixed-race mulatto and white replacement. That's what the invasion and all the race-mixed ads you see nowadays are about.
Can I help you, mate?
Do you think these glasses suit me?
No.
Oh, right.
Should have gone to Specsavers. Take the guesswork out of choosing glasses.
The media is jamming it down our throats. We never ever saw these ads before in mainly white majority nations. Jewish Hollywood is bringing up the rear with miscegenated movies and television programs, as is popular culture and transnational corporations who, when not promoting LGBTQ issues, have their marketing depict miscegenated mixed-race families, which are the rare exception and not the norm. The races have always sought out their own kind and blood for security and comfort. It's coded into the DNA of humans. People gravitate to what's like them. What's not like them represents a potential threat in times of stress. This also happens within racial groupings. For example, the Tutsi and Hutu people of Uganda. It's repeated in India, China, the Americas, and worldwide. Manufactured brotherly nurtured unity cannot overcome human nature and DNA when society is stressed. It's why assimilation between the races doesn't work unless it involves miscegenation wherein race is extinguished. That's exactly the plan for Europe. White replacement. This isn't to say that each race of people doesn't have value. They absolutely do for their uniqueness, but in their own nation and culture. To force race mixing extinguishes the uniqueness of true human diversity. Let's make that clear. To encourage races to run away from their nations instead of nation building is wrong. It condemns those who remain at the expense of those who fled, usually for selfish economic reasons. Transnational corporations have been press-ganged into the Great Reset. They're directed and harmonized in lockstep by adherence to ESG, DEI, and CEI corporate scores needed to access the capital and finance of the mischief makers who are biblically known as the Jewish money lenders. The Jewish-led $20 trillion BlackRock is just one of a host of similar Jew-led investment houses and banks where the tribe dominates. Money runs the world through power, and that's precisely what they're doing now. The Holocaust narrative and anti-Semitism epithets mean we now can't even ask questions about what they're doing, or their disproportionate power and influence relative to their small numbers in host nations. Europeans have been totally silenced and dare not point out the unseen culprits of the mischief and menace they're experiencing. The black, Arab, and Muslim invaders of Europe against their white hosts mean we don't see the Jewish mischief makers in Europe, let alone those in Ukraine at the moment. We don't see the Jew. It's no coincidence that chief global mischief makers like George Soros are Jewish, nor is it a coincidence Soros is a money maven, as most are. Money magic is a fiction most people don't comprehend. They have no idea the true nature of money and how it's brought into existence and extinguished to control the affairs of men and direct discipline individuals using debt. Most people are focused on daily existence and their debts to work out who owns them and is pulling the strings. White replacement is real folks. And it's not just in Europe. It's your own future. Open your eyes. And moreover, look whose interests are being served by the upheaval we've been witnessing. And the white replacement which they deny, but we can plainly see with our own eyes because we're experiencing it. Europe is living it. You'd better wake up real fast. There is an undeclared war on you, your race, culture, and way of life. That's what you're seeing in Europe, and that's what you're going to see closer to home with turmoil brought about by events and changes you could never have imagined possible. Wise up. With a racially atomized Europe and the Middle East in constant turmoil, Israel and the Jewish diaspora are free to fill the power vacuums where they don't already control. The Greater Israel Project will encounter no opposition in the Middle East or from Europe with the white races decimated. America was controlled long ago with a Zionist-occupied government that fights and finances wars for Israel. The alternative is Jewish nuclear weapons. From Greater Israel, it's a mere formality to world conquest as promised and directed by the Jewish Talmud. Talmudic Jews believe they're destined to rule the world as the rightful inheritors. These are not our words. Jewish supremacy is ardently believed by Jews. They truly believe they're chosen. They're convinced they're chosen to rule the world. Because their numbers are comparatively small, they pit non-Jews or Gentiles, as they're known, against each other to destroy each other, and Jews fill the vacuum they don't already control. Divide and conquer. They're always careful you don't see the Jew. That's why they have a practice of assuming names and identities of their hosts while never really assimilating. That's how the wandering Jew and their identity has survived for thousands of years without a homeland until they proclaimed Palestine as Israel in 1948. Jews had a tenuous hold on Israel until Ben-Gurion covertly nuclear-armed it. Now the only tangible threat is white Europe. It's why Israel's Samson nukes are pointed at Europe. The Holocaust narrative is about white Christian Europeans and their history to expel or exterminate the Jews for the mischief and menace they've caused since engineering the crucifixion of Jesus Christ and before. The Jewish claim of persecution is why Hitler is so important to Jews to manufacture white guilt and fuel perpetual rank-and-file Jewish fear. Hitler has been the Jewish lightning rod since World War II. The Nazis are their proof of a Holocaust, when in truth it's just a narrative kept alive by a Holocaust industry. It's a narrative that today cannot be questioned under the threat of jail in much of Europe and increasingly around the world.